ChemDry of Northern Utah, Aegis Home Health and Hospice, Les Olson Company, Prodigy Brewing, Cache Valley Bank, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Daryl's Appliance, HSA Depot, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Alpine Home Medical, S.E. Needham Jewelers, Thermo Fisher, Primrose Home Care, and Golden Spike Electric. It's the KVNU Aggie Game Day pregame show.
Well, 6-0 so far, one of 13 undefeateds left in college basketball. And the schedule for our Aggies now moves to two more West Coast Conference teams on neutral courts these next two times they play. And the Aggies are already standing at 2-0 against the WCC. Tonight, the venue, downtown San Francisco, at the home of the defending NBA champion, the Golden State Warriors, as the USF Dons will come down the hill into the city of by the Bay to be there alongside the Wharf to play Utah State tonight. These two really have great college basketball programs and traditions, and they're good teams right now. Aggies, as we said, undefeated, and the Dons are 7-1. After the win the other night against Utah Tech, the coach was already thinking about tonight.
It's going to be a fun game for us, to play in that arena and, be in that atmosphere and play against a really good opponent.
USU and San Francisco do have some history. We once lost to them in the NCAA tournament 59 seasons ago. And not all of you, of course, on Aggie history are old enough like me to remember that the University of San Francisco was a good basketball team then, and they'd even been better in the 50s as they dominated the college game. And the name Bill Russell, I'm sure, gets your basketball attention. We'll talk more about that as we go along tonight. We also feature part two of our introduction to Aggie forward Taylor Funk. And now let's bring in Jalen Moore for a rare Sunday night of Aggie basketball. We're going to set up this game from the Warriors Chase Center tonight. It'll be streamed for you to watch on the WCC network on the internet. And our Aggie Game Day brought to you tonight by Thermo Fisher Scientific. They're hiring now for manufacturing distribution positions, making the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. You go to job.thermofisher.com and search Logan. And also brought to you by Young Truck and Trailer Center. Competitive pricing for your trailers and flatbed work trucks on the highways. You head out of Logan towards Wellsville. Jalen, I'm going to make you a basketball player like you were and still are. I think you probably feel that way. When you're a basketball player, you get a chance to go onto this court tonight like these teams do. Don't you immediately think, hey, I want to be like Steph, I want to be like Clay, I want to be like Draymond when you get a chance to play there tonight?
Oh, yeah, I think that would be awesome. Obviously just the way that they've taken the league by storm, the whole Warriors, ever since Steph and Clay and Draymond and all them got onto that team and the way they looked last year and just the crazy and amazing things they do almost on a nightly basis on that court. I think it'd be awesome, just the experience to be able to play on that court, in that atmosphere, in that arena. I think it would be, second to none, one of the better places that you would have as a basketball player able to experience. So I think the guys tonight are looking forward to that experience on both teams. I think it would just be awesome. And like you said, that's one of the spots that a lot of people know about in the NBA, you know what I mean, where the Warriors play home games in the NBA. A lot of people tune in. And so these players know that. And so for them to have a chance to go out and play on that court, I think everybody's going to have an awesome time and enjoy that experience.
How do we get a game like this in this building tonight? Coach Odom told me yesterday.
Word of mouth, the other coaches in similar areas, pretty much how it happened. We're all looking for games. We would have rather home and home, but when you look at it, it's not very often, college guys have the opportunity to go play in historic NBA arenas. And so this is a cool thing for our guys.
And again, they do it. This is the third year that San Francisco has gone in. Their women have already played San Diego State today and beaten them, and now their men are playing there. They call it like the Chase Center takeover of University of San Francisco basketball. And so probably next year we will have a preseason game against San Francisco in Vivint Arena when we will play the Dons. Now, you looked at the schedule, though, Jalen, going into this season and know about where you played them. When you saw San Francisco on the schedule, this is a team that was an NCAA team last year. It was their first time they'd gone in 23 years, but they've had a great program. But to think that they are the team that got the spot out of the WCC after Gonzaga and St. Mary's instead of BYU shows you that this program is really a good team.
Yeah, it does. And you look back and they have some players returning that had that experience. Obviously, they lost their best player, but they had their second leading scorer and second best player, I thought, still coming back. So, like we said, they're going to have the pieces to give us a game. I think this is going to be a hard-fought game, one of the better teams that we played. And like what we've kind of touched on when we played the other WCC teams, it's just a showcase to show you how much better some of these conferences have gotten. For them to take 3 teams last year from the WCC who sometimes only gets 1, sometimes gets 2 teams in, for them to take 3 teams from that conference, it shows you how the conference is growing and how some of these other teams, just like San Francisco, are being able to compete at the top of that league. And so I think this is going to be one of our more hard-fought games. But I like it, you know what I mean? It makes college basketball a little bit more even, and it showcases that anyone can beat you on any night out. So I like that some of these teams that used to be at the bottom tier teams of their conferences are getting better and are able to compete with some of these bigger teams.
Yep, WCC got 3. We got 4 in the tournament last year. This is a resume builder type game you can have. And, when you play a good team, you want to be at your best. And I know you couldn't follow the game the other night against Utah Tech as much as and closely as you normally do, but Rylan Jones gets cracked by an inadvertent elbow to the head. He is out. I think, we featured talking about his game the other night. I guess we jinxed him. Remember, I talked to him in an interview later on saying, that this is going to be your year to not have the injuries like you did last year. And now all of a sudden we lose Rylan Jones for this game, and we hope not more, but who knows? He's in the concussion protocol, it sounds like.
Yeah, you hope not. Obviously, I heard about that. I didn't see the play that happened. I heard that he got that concussion. And like you said, hopefully, you miss this game and he's able to pass the concussion protocol that they have to and able to be cleared to practice and play coming up this next week. But, it'll be interesting. Now you throw a guy like Stephen Ashworth into that starting role and he's not coming off the bench. And you hope, hey, can he still bring that energy? Can he still bring that experience? Can he still bring the hot streak of shooting that he's on, starting the game rather than coming off the bench like we've needed in the last few games? And like you said, sometimes it kind of depends on the players. Some people like to start. Some people like to come off the bench. I think this will be a fun game to see, hey, do we get that same Stephen Ashworth that we've been getting from the bench in the game that he's going to start in, and obviously we know that he's our leading scorer right now. We know San Francisco knows that Rylan's out, and they're definitely going to center in on Steven. So, hey, are we going to get that same production that we've been getting the past few games? I think that's an interesting thing to look for in this game.
Yep, 30 and 27. We need those points for sure. And, hey, the other night was interesting. As Stephen after the game was asked, if Rylan can't go, what does that mean for you and for the team?
The good thing about this team is that every single guard has improved their handle. And, as you saw, Max brought it up a lot. Taylor even was in the ball screens, Z. So I think that we're a little more versatile this year. So there wasn't that much pressure once it happened. It was more so just, worry for my best friends and one of our good teammates.
And again, it sounds like, Rylan doesn't have anything broken, but again, in the concussion protocol is that elbow, inadvertent elbow. He thought he was going to get a rebound away from a big guy. He happened to be right there when he turned and got that shot in the face. But Max Scholga the other night, Jalen, had 10 assists. So he had a double-double with points and his assists. The other night he had a double-double with rebounds and points. Hey, and even R.J. Idlerock the other night got a shout-out from the coach after the game.
One of the key players in this particular game for us was R.J. R.J. was thrust into it again. And, he made 2 big buckets. Might have gotten fouled on a couple of others that he drove that were not called. Just a judgment call, whatever. But from my viewpoint, he could have had another one. There. I thought he played well.
He needs that, doesn't he, Jalen, at this point? This is a guy who's been a starter, but he's been battling a little bit, you can tell, health, not as much playing time. Pressure gets on you when you get fewer playing minutes. He kind of loosened up the other night, and we could use him now with Rylan out, couldn't we?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing about basketball, that's what makes it so fun. Every game's different. Something's going to happen differently every game, and obviously, like we say, you never want injuries to happen, but it's part of the game, and you always got to look at it as next guy up, and that opened up that spot and more playing time for RJ, and he came in and he did a lot of things that the team needed him to do in order to win, and like we said, now it's probably going to be cut down to 8 players tonight, depending on what happens. You never know, foul trouble could happen, and we could see a different 9th guy, but that means Rylan's out, RJ's probably going to get some more playing time. We're still going to probably see Z and Dan off the bench. And like we said, now you don't have that energy guy that, as in Ashworth, coming off the bench that we can rely on off the bench. So now, who's out of those three that we know are probably going to play for sure, who's going to be that energy and effort guy that we get from the bench that we've been getting in the previous 6 games? That's going to be the thing that's very interesting, and it could potentially be a guy like RJ that we need to step into that role. So one of those 3 guys is going to have to take on that role and bring us some of that energy, some of the production that we've been getting from our bench.
Okay, Jalen, you've already said it, and I had written down here, I think this is the biggest challenge our 6-0 Aggies have had so far this year, so let's continue to break that down. We also want to talk about that San Francisco tradition of basketball, and I do have Taylor Funk coming up as my player interview.
Yeah, I wanted a really good atmosphere for my last year, a good college atmosphere, and to be able to play in this atmosphere every night is just like, words don't describe that feeling. That is an adrenaline rush.
That's for all of you Aggie fans as he talks about playing in the Spectrum coming up in our interview. Chem Drive Northern Utah is one of our sponsors tonight of Game Day on KVNU. We also appreciate Daryl's Appliance joining with us tonight. Fridges and freezers, washers, dryers, ranges, dishwashers, they have them all at Daryl's Appliance. And LSS Insurance. Again, they can help you with Medicare when you're turning 65. Right now, Medicare plans can be changed. The deadline coming real fast on that. They can help you with any of your health insurance or any of your insurance needs. Call them Monday, 752-9493. Game day continues. The Aggies are at San Francisco at the Warriors Building, Chase Center, playing the Dons. It's on the WCC network streaming at 6:30. Game day continues.
Happy holidays, and thank you for letting Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center take care of your family medical needs. Make sure you call now for an appointment before the end of the year to utilize your cafeteria funds. Located in Providence and the new Three Peaks Medical Plaza, North Logan. The entire staff, along with Drs. Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette, wish you a safe and wonderful holiday. Go to CashValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products included. Select Med are accepted.
Hey, Aggie fans! Looking for the best burger in town? Bring the family to Prodigy Brewing and try out our signature Prodigy Supreme Burger or a wood-fired pizza. Need a smaller plate for the kids? Our kids menu has you covered. Whether you are out with the family or just want to catch the Aggies game with friends, Prodigy Brewing is the place to be in Cache Valley, located at 25 West Center Street in beautiful downtown Logan.
It's never too cold or wet to get rid of that old vehicle. Now is the time to earn extra cash for the holidays by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
It's back. Jarek's Fine Jewelry in Logan is having our annual Pick a Pearl event. If you've attended this in the past, you know how much fun we have. And if you haven't come before, you don't want to miss this exciting event. For only $10, pick your oyster, open it that day, or save it for that stocking stuffer surprise. Mark your calendar, Friday and Saturday, December 9th and 10th. Pick a Pearl at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Look for the bright green cars.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special. Make it Jarek's.
Holiday parties and events at the Riverwoods Conference Center offer a festive and fun holiday atmosphere. Paired with catering from the Elements Restaurant, your special occasion can include tasty hors d'oeuvres, delicious entrees, and decadent desserts that always deliver excellence. Now accepting reservations for the 2022 holiday season, the Riverwoods Conference Center and Elements Restaurant can accommodate you whether your event is large or small. Visit theriverwoods.com or call 750-5151.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by Chem Drive Northern Utah on News Talk KVNU.
Honestly, I thought we played together very well, and every night could be a different guy having those type of nights. But having five of us in double figures just shows how when we play together, anything can happen. And when we move the ball and swing it and look inside and look for open shots, it's a beauty.
That's Isaiah Hawthorne. He's off the bench. He had 12 points, 22 minutes the other night in their victory over Little Rock. They were coming off their first loss of the season after a 6-0 start, where the Aggies are going into San Francisco tonight. The Dons lost at Davidson 89-80, and then they turned around, came back. But, Jalen, I thought that was an interesting comment to play because we could have played that exactly of a Utah State basketball player up until now, the same exact words. There is a lot of similarities when you look at these two teams for this game tonight.
Yeah, if you go through and look at the team stats, obviously they played 8 games, we played 6. Very, very similar. You're going to see a lot of similarities in the style of play. You're going to see a lot of similarities when you look at the stat sheet. Both teams like to get out and score. Both teams are very good at rebounding. Both teams give assists well. They set up their teammates well, and they defend pretty well. So I think, like we kind of touched on, I think this is going to be the best team that we've played so far. And I think this is going to be the kind of test that we need, like we always touch on before games, just because of how strong our conference is. These are the type of tests that we want to see in that non-conference. And like I thought Coach Odom and the staff had done a great job so far with the non-conference schedule. And like we said, after the San Francisco game, you have a few more tough games that are going to come up before you get into that conference schedule. And I think that they did a great job of getting the guys ready for what we're going to see in conference.
And then we talked about, you already mentioned Stephen Ashworth, and then there's Khalil Shabazz on the other side. So you got a great scorer in Ashworth right now. And really, Shabazz is one of the outstanding defenders in all of college basketball up until now. He steals the ball a lot.
Yeah, he does. And obviously we know that that's the guy that's going to be on Ashworth. And on the flip side of that, he's their leading scorer as well. So he gets it done both sides. He can score offensively and he can get after it defensively. And obviously he's probably a guy that feeds off of his defense. Like you said, he gets those skills. He tries to get out in transition, tries to get in people's heads. And I'm excited to see that matchup between him and Ashworth. And we're going to get to see it right from the tip now that Ashworth is starting this game. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Ashworth handles that. And it'll be interesting to see how Shabazz handles what Ashworth has been doing the last few games. So I think that's going to be the key matchup to watch this game.
And then you just touched on it. Their transition. They, again, have a transition game that's effective. But Coach Odom says we have an edge there. Listen to this what he told his team about San Francisco's transition attack.
Their transition offense is excellent. We've told our team it's very similar to playing our team last year. They have skill at all 5 positions, and they play a very similar style to the way that we played last year. So
again, there he's talking about if guys have returned, they knew how we played last year with our transition offense, what we tried to do. San Francisco tried to do the same thing. And what's interesting is Chris Gerlefson, who is the coach of San Francisco in his first year, he has 2 concerns so far this year. His team's fouling too much. But then, like Ryan Odom has talked about before, turnovers are a problem. Listen to the coach there.
It's funny, if you look back to last year's team, we had the same issues. We turned the ball over at a high rate at the beginning of the year, and then as the season went along, that number slowly went down. So I fully anticipate that number to continue to go down and us to get better in terms of valuing the ball. It's like these two coaches are kind of talking similarities. You got 2 familiar guys playing that we played against before for San Francisco. Some of these guys have played. Zane Meeks, who is their 5-man who comes off the bench, number 15. He played at Nevada before. And then off of their bench is number 55, Marcus Williams. And Jalen, remember a couple of years ago, he was the Mountain West Freshman of the Year when he played at Wyoming before he went to Texas A&M. So here's more familiarity and similarities going on in this game.
Yeah, it's a crazy matchup. They really are almost identical teams. Obviously, like we said, they can score, they can rebound. Sometimes we turn over the ball too much. Sometimes they turn over the ball too much. And then obviously they're going to have 2 guys coming off the bench that are similar and have played against some of our guys and that we've played against. So I think this game is it's going to come down to a lot of the little things, a lot of the fundamentals that basketball brings upon you, like obviously making free throws, boxing out, not giving up boards, stuff like that. Like the little things, and I think are going to be the ones that win this game. Don't be surprised if it's a close game, wire to wire. And I think those are the kind of games, like we said, that we need. The games that are going to test our guys, who's going to step up and make the big plays offensively, defensively. I think this is going to be a game where someone on either team, whoever makes those big plays and converts on those momentum swings, that kind of stuff, that's who's going to come away with the win in this game. And I think that's what makes it so intriguing and so interesting to see what's going to happen.
One more similarity, San Francisco has a guy from Ukraine on their team like we do in Markovetsky. He's a number, I think, 32 who comes off of their bench in this game. Jalen, I know this is kind of interesting to you, and especially I know your dad has lived through the whole deal about racial discrimination when he grew up in Mississippi. I've talked to Jimmy about it before. This San Francisco team, Jalen, did you know when Bill Russell and Casey Jones, now maybe you've studied enough basketball to know Casey Jones, but I'm sure you heard about Bill Russell. These guys were the back-to-back NCAA champions in 55 and 56. One time, though, when they were going along with they had a 60-game win streak at one time. Oklahoma City had a famous all-conference, all-college tournament every year. They tried to keep them out of that tournament at one time because if they had 3 black players. Now, they won championships. They're not like 5, like Texas Western was the first to have 5 black players. They had 3. Of course, Wilt Chamberlain came right after Bill Russell did at Kansas and all of these things with that. But they were into this. But this program, again, had Bill Russell, Casey Jones. They won 60 straight games before UCLA, of course, set the record. So they were really the team in the 40s and 50s. In fact, they beat Utah in both of the regionals the year they won the championship. They also, again, eventually later on had Bill Cartwright, who played with Michael Jordan. Their team was 29-0 one year before they lost to UNLV. Then in the 80s, they took a self-imposed death penalty. Their president shut down the program because they had boosters that were wildly giving and spending and doing money and things for players at San Francisco. And then one player got involved in a rape allegation, and that seemed to really shed light on their program. They shut down the program there for 3 years, so they've been trying to come back. They've been 17 times to the NCAA. I just thought you might be interested in all of that. Is that interesting to you? I would imagine it would be.
Yeah, it definitely is. It just shows you all the things that their program has been through and all the great things that they've done, but also shutting down a program and being able to rebuild it back to where it's successful like it is now. Like I said, it's tough, especially in the conference they're in, that WCC nowadays, that's just patrolled and controlled by Gonzaga. You know, to see these teams like San Francisco getting into the conference tournament and competing in their conference tournament as well as getting into the March Madness tournament, you know, it just shows the things that the complete turnaround they've made and trying to get them in the direction that they were before. And obviously, you know, you're probably not going to see teams go 60-0 and stuff like that anymore, just to the way that basketball's played and the skill level of everybody at all the teams that are D1 programs. But for them to go from shutting down the program and from a great program to shutting it down to trying to rebuild that program back up, you know, I think they're obviously headed in the right direction, and it's interesting to hear all that stuff.
Their coach Todd Golden from last year went to Florida, and that's where his assistant Chris Gerlefsen gets this job now as the new coach of this team. We actually lost to them in Corvallis, Oregon in 1964 in the NCAA tournament. We'd beaten our Arizona State, but then we lost to San Francisco. They eventually then lost to UCLA to go to the Final Four that year out here in the West back in those days. The last time we played the Dons was in the Spectrum in the first night of a Gosner tournament. Spencer Nelson scored 20, had 4 assists, and we beat them easily that night, 74-48. But we've only won 3 against San Francisco down through the years as we play tonight, the 12th game in this series. We have won 2 of the last 3, but it's 3-8 overall where we stand. So let's go to Jalen Moore for keys to this game tonight. A big game for the Aggies against the Dons. WCC Network will be streaming. Incidentally, Bill Walter just handed me a note. It is freezing rain out on the roads here around the valley. If in any way you could avoid driving right now or walking, I guess he walked out of the building here a few minutes ago and said it's starting to really freeze rain. They said it was going to be in the forecast, so be careful with that. And again, Primrose Home Care and Health and Hospice. Concierge health service in the comfort of your own home is what it's all about. Locally owned since 2006. So, Jalen, what have you got tonight against the Dons for the Aggies to go to 7-0?
Yeah, I got 3 keys again. I think number one, most importantly, when we talked about it, there's so many similarities in these teams that it is going to come down to the little things. And I think the number one biggest thing is we got to take care of the ball. We can't have a lot of turnovers. You go look at their team stats; they average 8 steals a game. Which means they're very aggressive defensively. We can't just throw blind passes. We can't jump to pass. We can't drive it and get too deep and not be able to throw the ball back out. We know that Shabazz is going to hound people, try to get in transition, try to make people turn it over. Like I said, 8 steals a game as a team, that's a lot. So they're very aggressive defensively, trying to make you turn it over. So we have to take care of the ball. Number 2, we haven't done this the last 3 games, and we've still come out victorious, but I think this is a team that's going to hurt us if we don't hold them under 80 points. I think if we let them get after it and score in the 80s like we have the last 3 games, I think this is a team that can hurt us and actually end up winning the game. So I think we have to keep them under 80 points. And the other thing, too, is we can't let them get hot from three. I went back and looked at they're 7-1, and the biggest thing that stood out to me is they're very streaky from three. There's some games where they shoot 15%. There's some where they shoot 40, then they go 25, then they go 38. They're really up and down from the three-point line. We can't let them get in a rhythm and get comfortable from that three-point line. Now, obviously, they still do a lot of other things other than shoot threes because they are 7-1. But if you let a team like this that is well-rounded offensively also get hot from the three-point line, it could be a long night for us. So, I mean, if we do those three things, I think we come away with the win tonight.
And they shoot about half their shots from three, if you look at all the stats on the year. And the coach said maybe the Utah Tech game finally gave his guys the lesson about what we got to do on the three-point line against the opponents.
Keeping bodies in front, the intensity that we have to play with on defense, I think that's the biggest lesson that we got from that game is just we're not on it at every second like we need to be.
So defense is hard to play. And you got to be on it. And this Aggie team does need to improve in those areas. And, again, Ryland's a good defender, and they miss him in this game tonight. Jalen, thanks a lot. Well, enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you right after, okay?
Yeah, awesome. Sounds good.
All right, Jalen Moore joining with us. And, again, we do have that, Taylor Funk Part 2 coming up tonight on our game day.
But, again, you're always working towards something, and you don't know what's coming next. If you would have told me I was going to be in Logan, Utah a year ago today, I would have kind of laughed in your face. I didn't even know what Logan, Utah was.
Again, you'll have the whole thing coming up with the sharpshooter. He and Stephen Ashworth are right up there in the national charts. Again, game day continues, brought to you in part by S.E. Needham Jewelers. Downtown Logan, middle of the block, sign of the clock. Great spot for Christmas. Golden Spike Electric. The power you can count on is the Generac generators. When we get freezing rain, that can be a problem for power. Always stay with power with the Generac backup generators available from Golden Spike Electric. Get a hold of them on Monday. And Riverwoods Conference Center. You got a holiday get-together with your family, with your business. You need a spot to go. Riverwoods Conference Center is great for the holidays with all your parties. And, of course, Elements is a great spot to eat. Game day continues. The Aggies at USF tonight, actually at the Warriors building, the Chase Center. They're calling it the Chase Center Takeover, I think is what San Francisco calls it. Third year they've done it. We're back with more game day after this.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We are humbled by and grateful for the tremendous support we have been shown since opening our doors nearly 2 years ago. So we just want to say thank you. On behalf of everyone at White Pine, first and foremost, thank you for allowing us the honor and privilege of serving you and caring for your loved ones. Additionally, thank you for voting White Pine the best mortuary in Cache Valley in both 2021 and 2022.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Daryl's Appliance is feeling the Christmas spirit and wants to spread some cheer. Join them December 17th to enter to win a KitchenAid stand mixer and other prizes at Daryl's during their in-store event. Get some hot cocoa and a picture with their special guests, Santa and Mrs. Claus. They have Christmas specials all December on GE, Whirlpool, and other appliances. Plus, get 12 months interest-free financing and Daryl's famous service that backs every sale. Only at Daryl's, west on Airport Road.
Nothing compares to the warmth and feel that a wood stove provides. The two-time Best of Northern Utah winning team says there's never been a better time to replace your old inefficient wood stove and install a new energy-efficient EPA-certified Vermont casting wood product in your home. The U.S. government is offering federal tax credits of 26% on your wood stove install for Vermont casting units that include stoves, venting, and labor. Call or email Advanced Fireplace and Stove for a free in-home estimate. Call 435-752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
When it's happening in Washington, when it's happening on Wall Street.
That's the reason why we're going to continue, because I believe there is a cause here.
News Talk KVNU Logan.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
More analysis and more previews of today's game. It's KVNU Game Day.
You know, I was proud of the guys and the way that we found a way to win, especially without our point guard. You know, it's difficult when something like that happens really early in the game, not only for our momentum, but just our psyche. And so it was difficult throughout the stretch. We were in foul trouble a little bit, but guys stepped up when we needed to, and we were able to get the win.
Yeah, Stephen in foul trouble. He still, again, is number 1 in the nation in three-point field goals made per game, 4.5. Number 6 in three-point percentage shooting. Taylor Funk, incidentally, is number 4 in three-pointers made per game at 4. Number 11 in three-point percentage shooting. Stephen's now 21st in the nation in scoring, number 1 off the bench. Now he will start tonight with Rylan Jones not in there. The Aggies, though, gave Utah Tech, they let him shoot 48%. 52% from 3. Those were opponent season highs. And like Jalen said, we're giving up too many points. The Aggies have scored 5 straight in the 80s, but again, they've had to do that up until now. And again, that was kind of an interesting deal that, again, was kind of reflected as we talked about the things. A 6-0 start for this basketball team. Stephen Ashworth says,
I credit a lot of it to our offseason. You know, we put in the work. We were together all the time. And, you know, we knew the pain of those moments. And a lot of us remember exactly what it felt like. And to be back in that situation, I think it's just a maturity thing. We know what it's like to be in those moments, and we know where to go when we need it.
Tight games down the stretch, beat San Diego in overtime, had to struggle down the stretch to beat Oral Roberts, had to struggle down the stretch to beat Utah Tech. Last year, the Aggies didn't do that in those games, and now they're 6-0, Coach.
You know, winning is really hard, right? I think that's the biggest thing. We've talked to our guys, you know, over and over and over again, all right, all summer about how hard it is to win. And coming off of last year, nobody understands that better than us. We won some great games last year. We had a lot of fun, but we also had some heartbreakers. And so our guys understand when you put your heart and soul into it, there's a chance that you can lose when you step across that line. And so our guys understand that it is hard to win. It is really, I always say, really, 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 really hard. And there's moments where you got to answer.
The Aggies were 5-2 on neutral floors last year. They get a neutral game tonight, a neutral game this next Saturday night when they play down in the Mandalay Bay Arena against Loyola Marymount, who incidentally beat Nevada yesterday. Did you notice that? Nevada's second loss of the year is Loyola beat them. UNLV still undefeated. They beat San Diego, team that we beat earlier, 95-78. Fresno State did beat Irvine. That's a big win for them. Boise State over Texas A&M. Northern Colorado, they'll beat Colorado State. Portland beat Air Force. Grand Canyon over Wyoming, and Arkansas beat San Jose in games last night. So Vegas, New Mexico, and the Aggies are all still perfect. And now Nevada, Boise State, San Diego State are 2 lost teams on the season. We move just quickly away from, again, the basketball. If you have not heard today, it was announced that Utah State will play Memphis in the 11th annual Service Pro First Responder Bowl game on December 27th down at the SMU campus there in Dallas. It'll be the first appearance for both teams in the First Responder Bowl. Both Utah State and Memphis are 6-6. They're playing for the 8th time in series history. First time, though, since way back, 1977. And Coach Anderson said today,
well, excited to get the news, to be going to Dallas, spending Christmas there. We'll be in Dallas on Christmas Day, getting ready for a game on the 27th. Love the matchup against Memphis, really good football team, familiar with those guys. Coach Silverfield and their program, having played them and been kind of right there in that footprint during my time at Arkansas State. I have watched them play several times this year and know what kind of challenge that'll be. A ton of guys on our roster and our staff from Texas, so the opportunity to go back to the Metroplex where we recruit as well. There's just a lot of positives about this particular game for us and this matchup.
And if you've ever been to Arkansas State to play football, you go in and out of Memphis. So he knows a lot about Memphis football, being as close as he was those years at Arkansas State. Fresno State will play Washington State in the Jimmy Kimmel L.A. Bowl. Frisco Bowl is Boise State and North Texas. The Idaho Bowl will be San Jose State and Eastern Michigan. Air Force and Baylor play in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl game. In the Hawaii Bowl, it will be San Diego State, Middle Tennessee. And Wyoming and Ohio will play the Arizona Bowl. So really the Aggies in Memphis is one of the better matchups that this conference gets from the bowl season that was announced today. Utah in the Rose Bowl against Penn State. Well, BYU and SMU renew their famous bowl game that they had in the Holiday Bowl. They're going to play in Albuquerque. Those were all announced today. And again, the top four, if you missed it in the playoffs, they did keep TCU in, and they put Ohio State number 4. So Ohio State will play Georgia in one bowl game semifinal and Michigan against TCU in the other semifinal. S.A. Needham Jewelers always brings you the starting lineups for the game, and of course tonight the first time that is going to change because of what the coach told us yesterday.
Ryland's out for a little bit. We don't know how long. I mean, that's just kind of up to his symptoms and how it goes. He did sustain a concussion, so he's out. No, he didn't break anything. No, he's fine in that regard. It's just a matter of him recovering from that.
And remember the other night we talked to Ryan about how he said, okay, this year I'm going to stay away from injuries, not have any of these problems. We got the problem. We also talked when he and I got together earlier this week about this game in San Francisco tonight that he was looking forward to, of course, as a basketball junkie like he is. But also, again, he knew Stephen Ashworth was shooting the ball like Steph Curry has been shooting it.
Yeah, obviously that's going to be an experience for a lifetime. Not very often do you get to play in an NBA arena, especially, like where the Warriors play. And obviously we know how good they have been in this last decade, and the players have played in that gym, and it'll just be a surreal moment that we're all love for the rest of our life, and talk to our kids and grandkids all about, like, hey, we played in the Warriors arena the year after they just won an NBA championship. So that would be pretty cool.
Stephen Ashworth can be like Steph Curry shooting the ball.
I mean, I'm just going to see number 30 out there instead. He's number 3, but I mean, he's playing like 30 right now, so that's great, and hopefully he can keep it up in San Francisco on Sunday.
No, Rylan not feeling too good after he took that shot. He was out for quite a bit on that floor the other night. And again, we hope that concussion protocol goes quickly for him. I know he's watching the streaming tonight just wishing he can see number 3 play like 30 and the Aggies can win the game tonight against San Francisco. Again, Taylor Funk Part 2 is coming up on our game day coverage of the Aggies here on your station. You can listen to here locally and hear everything before and after every Aggie game, and we'll let you know where. It's on WCC Network is where you stream it tonight. WCCC Network from San Francisco. Game day continues before the 6:30 game right here.
We're heading into some crazy weather this winter, which means power outages. Tyler and his team at Golden Spike Electric can install a Generac automatic standby generator for your home so you can avoid issues when the power goes out. If you have one already, Golden Spike Electric can maintain your Generac automatic standby generator for you. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac automatic standby generators. Power you can count on.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. A mattress store recently closed right next door to our Riverdale location. Most people have said how awesome that is for us. I think I disagree. At My Mattress, we love competition. We love it if you shop other places, but also give us a shot. Shop online or go to other stores, maybe even a warehouse sale, but come into My Mattress because we want our shot at winning your business. Come into My Mattress right now and see if better sleep and better pricing are what you'll find.
Alpine Home Medical has been around for over 25 years. Can you believe that? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. What keeps us coming to work every day? We're passionate about caring for you. From home and bathroom safety to transportation, mobility, recovery, oxygen, sleep, and more, come into any of our 10 locations today and let us take care of you. Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
You're first and goal at the 10-yard line with seconds left on the clock. Your running back is poised for the game-winning touchdown, but before you can make the snap, the opposing team just takes the ball and locks it in a safe, and they won't give you the combination unless you pay them $10,000. That's exactly how ransomware works. And in 2021, 2 out of every 3 organizations fell victim to ransomware attacks. Protect your business with Les Olson Security Suite from Les Olson IT. Learn more at lesolson.com.
Thermo Fisher Scientific is hiring for their manufacturing, distribution, and warehouse team. And that's great news for anyone seeking a rewarding career. Thermo Fisher offers positions across multiple shifts, competitive compensation, health benefits, paid time off, bonuses, and an excellent work environment. Help Thermo Fisher make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Visit jobs.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher Scientific is an equal opportunity employer.
KVNU Game Day is back with Al Lewis.
Yeah, we heard from Jalen Moore earlier. We'll have John Russell with us after the game. Jalen will also join with us. We'll check his keys to the game. So immediately when the game's over, we will be here to take your calls and your texts and talk about the game, Utah State and San Francisco. Dons again 7-1, the Aggies 6-0 into this 12th ever meeting between them. And again, they did play a neutral court game back at Corvallis, Oregon, 1964, an NCAA game where we lost. Eventually, they got UCLA next, and they didn't make it to the Final Four back in those days. But in the 50s, they won the championship twice with Bill Russell, Casey Jones, a part of that team, as we talked about earlier, San Francisco. Earlier, Taylor Funk told us about going into the transfer portal, coming here to Utah State. And again, he said, hey, I wanted to really explore the transfer portal. As soon as he came to Utah State, though, he fell in love. And the Aggies were love at first sight, and you can see why. Taylor Funk has added so much to our team, just a great addition. Again, shooting now, as we said, one of the best three-point shooters in the nation right now, he and Stephen Ashworth, 18 points a game, almost 9 rebounds a game. Now he's going to talk about the strength and conditioning of Jimmy Stitz in this interview and moving out here to the West to play basketball for the Aggies. Coaches and the players made you a captain right off the bat to come in here, so there's a lot of expectations there, but then it looks like you blended in with these guys really, really well as far as really good teammates.
100%. They made it really easy, too. I feel like that's another reason I committed on my visit, was just the level of, togetherness on this team, just watching 2 practices and just like hanging out with the guys. And, everyone was just like, took time out of their day to hang out with me when I was here. And, coaches and just the community. I'm walking around campus and just people, it just seems like there's just something special here. I really don't know how to describe it. You kind of have to see it for yourself. But it's just definitely a really good community and something I knew I wanted to be a part of. What do you see so far of basketball in this part of the country? Does the West play a little bit different than the East? It does, yeah. It's still early, so I feel like I don't have a real good idea. Yeah, I don't have a pinpoint perspective on it. I'd say it's a little faster for sure, a lot more up and down. But yeah, we're definitely prepared for that. I mean, our strength coach, Jimmy, he worked me harder than I've ever worked in my entire life. I didn't even know people could go as hard as we did this summer. And it was just like such a joy and such a pleasure to do it with this group of guys, because every day people were just hungry for it. Like they wanted more. And, Jimmy definitely put us in the situation to be successful. And it's just a collective effort from strength coach to coaches to players, just the level of commitment that these guys had to just get better, and push themselves harder than ever, which is why I think this group can really do something special. I think that's neat. And again, you'll have a look at the conference games when the Mountain West starts. You'll see the spectrum even different when those games start than even if you've seen it up until now. And I know that's also been something you've kind of enjoyed. Yeah, I wanted a really good atmosphere for my last year, a good college atmosphere. And if I'm being honest, the spectrum, the herd, the community, that they just love basketball, and that was another big reason why I chose this place. I mean, that's kind of what a lot of people say college basketball is all about, is just the atmosphere, and to be able to play in this atmosphere every night is just like, words don't describe that feeling. That is an adrenaline rush that is like no other. You already have 2 degrees, what I read, so you must be a studious guy to want to stay 6 years in college to keep going to school. Yeah, 2 degrees, 2 minors. Well, I'm working on my second bachelor's. I have a business certificate and 2 minors, so yeah, we're filling that resume up for sure. It's a good opportunity. I mean, I'm here. Why not? Mm-hmm. So what? Basketball obviously be something you'd like to stay in, I can tell. But then in the future, what would you like to do? I would really like to be a coach one day. yeah, that kind of started to have that love of, you know, being a leader, and later on in my career, and being here with these guys, I mean, they really show you how a good coaching staff is supposed to be. And yeah, I think I'm pretty good with people, pretty good at talking to people, and, you know, building relationships. So I'd like to use that God-given talent as to do something I would want to do.
It's always interesting when I talk to guys your age, and you might be a few years older than maybe a few of the guys on the team, but because, I mean, this is kind of still an older basketball team in some ways, but, you know, to think that you grew up in Pennsylvania and you end up here, there's no expectations, no thoughts of that just 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, and now isn't it interesting how life goes?
It's very interesting. I mean, yeah, I always think in life you're always looking forward to what's next. And I think that's where people can go wrong a little bit, and instead of enjoying the moment that you're in. But again, you're always working towards something, and you don't know what's coming next. If you would have told me I was going to be in Logan, Utah a year ago today, I would have kind of laughed in your face. I didn't even know what Logan, Utah was. No, very, very blessed to be in this opportunity I'm in right now, and just try to take every day and enjoy it as much as possible, because these days will run out. It feels like yesterday I was a freshman in high school. I remember that first bus trip to my first game, and one of the seniors on my team, or sorry, junior at the time on my team, just said, "Enjoy this, because it's going to go quick." And I said, "Dude, I'm a freshman. We didn't even play our first game yet." He said, "Trust me." His name's Matt Walsh. He said, "Trust me, it's going to go quick." And here I am, one opportunity left, 1 year left of this, and really, really taking full advantage of it.
And I also like the attitude, too, that you kind of have to take that attitude in basketball games. You've played some good games up until now, but you got to always worry about the next game, and you got to play better and get ready for whatever opponent it is, and that's the way the season goes.
100%, yeah. You're only as good as your last game. It's just fun. We got a group of guys here that I feel like we're really good at not letting this feeling, you know, celebrate the win for sure, but the next day comes around, and, you know, here we are right now, preparation for our next game. You know, you got a short amount of time to celebrate. You got you got more time to, you know, get ready for the next.
Well, it's good to get a chance to meet you a little bit, hear you. Again, we're so appreciative you are here, kind of guy you are, and blending in with our guys, and we love it. And we'll talk to you again. Thanks, Taylor.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
It's really great to hear from him. Again, our Aggie player interview brought to you tonight in part by DD Auto and Salvage. Remember, they'll help you clean up the yard, get that junk vehicle out. They'll pay you top dollar, 787-1204. And if you feel like there's something wrong with your furnace, you're not warm enough on the cooler days we're starting to have now, get with Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning tomorrow. 752-7272 is their phone number. And they can also service your unit as well and make sure it's running great for the winter season. It's our coaches segment to finish up game day. And remember, it is streaming tonight only. No television. Streaming from the Chase Center where the Warriors play. The San Francisco Dons, Utah State Aggies, are playing tonight in a big game, and it's on the WCC Network. Online is where you can find the game tonight. Advanced Heating and AC, the two-time gold medal winner in Best in Northern Utah. They're teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you the best furnace units available, and now's the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, 752-7272, or stop by their showroom west of DI, and online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
As a small business, achieving your financial goals and ambitions can be a steep and rocky mountain to climb. This is Brett Green, president of Cache Valley Bank. To conquer this mountain and achieve your goals, it takes planning, hard work, and discipline. At Cache Valley Bank, we have the resources, expertise, and flexibility to help you scale your way to success. Give us a call. Let's work together and climb the mountains that await. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
If you're thinking about getting engaged this holiday season, S.E. Needham Jewelers is the place to shop for your diamond engagement ring. S.E. Needham's has the largest selection of wedding rings in the area, including hundreds of styles in platinum, white gold, and yellow gold. We import diamonds direct from Antwerp, Belgium, which enables us to guarantee the best price on diamonds. We also offer the most complete warranty and services of any store in the state. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
This is Zach with HSA Depot. Christmas is nearly here. Make sure you be merry and bright by using your pre-tax funds on your medical needs. We know your regular holiday budget is disappearing quick, so instead, save money by using your pre-tax income to buy qualifying medical supplies. HSA Depot carries hundreds of unique and dashing eligible products to help you conquer your healthcare. Come to HSA Depot next to Sally Beauty Supply and see how much you can save this holiday season. HSA Depot, 5-star review.
National Medicare commercials are confusing and offer amazing coverages and options that simply seem too good to be true. This is Rusty Allen from LSS Insurance. Unfortunately, national companies don't know our networks of doctors or hospitals. At LSS Insurance, I guarantee if there is a way to get you more for less, we will do it. Now is the time to change or sign up for 2023 Medicare. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493. Go to lssins.com or come into our free third Thursday meeting.
It's KVNU Aggie
Get
Game
to know
Day,
Sean Bairstow.
brought to you
Just random
by
questions,
Young
so
Truck
whatever
and
comes to your
Trailer
mind.
on News
You've been
Talk
around this
KVNU.
Get to know Sean Bairstow. Just random questions here, so whatever comes to your mind. You've been around this team for a little bit, so who's the biggest trash talker for Utah State basketball?
Myself or Dan Aiken.
Did it take long for Dan to initiate himself as one of the biggest trash talkers?
No, he made his presence felt.
Okay. What was your favorite movie?
One of the Harry Potters, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite book?
Nah, not really. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe in aliens?
I believe there's something out there. I don't know what they are, though. It might just be animals on different planets. Who knows?
Okay, fair enough. Would you, if you had the option, would you rather go back in time 10 years or go forward in time 10 years?
I would go back in time.
Any particular reason?
Not really. The past will be known then. There's a few things that changed in the past. There's a few things that changed in the past. The future we'll figure out back then.
Okay. And then last question for me. Do you have a phobia? And what's your biggest phobia? What are you scared of?
I hate looking down from big buildings.
Oh.
Yeah.
You afraid of heights?
No, not afraid of heights. Just afraid of looking over the edge, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only for big buildings?
Yeah, big buildings.
All right, Sean Bairstow, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate Eric Frandsen doing that all throughout our football broadcasts. We're going to do basketball every once in a while, giving you a chance to hear some random things from players. And I'll tell you what, after 19 in the first game, I think he's only scored 26 since. We need Sean Bairstow to get back to the offensive side of things. That would be a big deal for our team. Thermo Fisher, again, brings you our Know Your Aggies features always on our game days on KVNU, and the football ones that also are featured over on The Fan, making the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Our coaches segment brought to you tonight by HSA Depot, which is out by Sally Beauty on Main Street. Again, using your HSA and FSA to buy your medical supplies for your family. Again, for these teams, again, they come in after games this week into this big one tonight. The Aggies played Thursday night against Utah Tech. Coach?
Obviously, a great game. Proud of our guys for fighting through that game and figuring out a way to come out with a victory. I thought Utah Tech played a great game. They had an excellent game plan. They are a physical team. They've got some good players. They're well coached. They were competitive. I think I said it before. They're physical, and they took the fight to us from the very beginning. And our guys responded.
They responded especially in the second half in that last 11 minutes to take control of the game. Now, for, again, Chris Gerlefsen, who is in his first year as the USF coach, he was Todd Golden's top assistant who went to Florida. They got back to the winning ways after they lost their first game of the year to Davidson. I think that was last Friday, a week ago, yesterday, or 2 days ago. And now they came back on Wednesday night and beat Little Rock.
I was nervous about this game, because we were on the road for basically over a week. The natural instinct is to maybe look a little bit ahead to the Chase Center game on Sunday and kind of overlook UALR. And I thought our guys, especially in the first half, just came out with the right approach and really allowed us to not necessarily coast, but we did coast in stretches in the second half.
Again, that's the coach of USF, again, going into this game tonight as we get into our coaches segment here. Let's talk a little bit about the Dons with our head coach. Of course, Coach gave us a scouting report, and he started off first by telling us.
Getting ready to play an excellent team in San Francisco, well-coached squad. really good guard play and just general skill all around the court. They can play with a traditional center, but then they also will play a little over half the game with a pick and pop center.
They did start the 7-2 center in this last game, Gigi Giberia, but we'll see. Again, Meeks, who's a transfer from Nevada, has played a lot there. We again tell you, if you haven't heard, Rylan Jones will be out, concussion protocol right now. The other night, Max Scholga really helped with ball handling, and that could be big, right, Coach?
When you have Max with the ball, and they obviously were switching their center on Max. Max, we felt like Max had a good advantage there. Taylor had a good advantage on that switch too. And what we tried to do was just space it out and then begin our drive and kick. And I thought our guys did a nice job of finding one another enough, right? To separate and win the game. Now, we're going to have to play better, going forward.
10 assists, but again, you're missing that great assist-to-turnover ratio that Rylan Jones gives, and you still want Stevens scoring his points because this San Francisco team, again, it starts with their backcourt. A shooter back there, a transfer from Washington State, and Roberts, and again, Shabazz has been there.
They're led by their two guards, Shabazz and Roberts, two veteran players, who provide a ton of challenges because they're so fast, they're so crafty on offense, they shoot it well. And then defensively, they cause havoc and really steal the ball, in particular Shabazz. I mean, he's elite at how he steals the ball.
He is elite. Again, the guy they played last year, what was it? Guy for Richmond was the all-time career leader. And Coach says this guy, Shabazz, is just as effective. So the key to this game tonight boils down to a lot of that.
So we're going to have to, that's going to be certainly a key to the game, is protecting our basketball and getting clean looks. Defensively guarding the three-point line and the bounce, is going to be huge. Rebounding, because when you are fighting a team that shoots from beyond the arc a ton, there's a chance for long rebounds, and so we've got to be able to come up with those long rebounds.
Like we said, Meeks at Nevada, Williams comes off their bench, Wyoming, the Mountain West freshman of the year 2 years ago, and then went to Texas A&M 1 year. Now he's at San Francisco. They're a team that plays about 8 or 9. They're a team that shoots quite a few threes. They're streaky, as Jalen said, shooting threes. And then Ashworth starts now. So we need the spark off the bench. Boy, I'll tell you what, Dan Akin, again, Akin has, had 2 double-doubles and has seemed to be there in every single game for the coach.
Dan's just, he's a great athlete, right? And he's willing to put his body on the line. And Dan's just a winning player for us right now. He rebounds the ball. He's making his free throws, at this point. I know he missed one there at the end, but he's done a great job with that. So far this season, he's got some defensive ability that we didn't have last year. He can switch. You see him switching on their point guard, and he was having a hard time getting around him. He picks the ball up, because we were able to begin to switch a little bit. So he just gives us a different look. And, I know we're lucky to have him.
So Dorius against their big guy, but then when their smaller forward center comes in, Dan, of course, will be a big part of that. He can be a big part of our team. I'll tell you what, Stephen Ashworth just loves him, as he said the other night after Utah Tech.
Yeah, Dan is huge for us, just the way he moves down low. He just seems to always be open, sometimes in unconventional ways. And it makes it fun. And so I think, to your testament, we found him, and by finding him, it allowed the weak side defenders to kind of sink in on him, which opened up some corner threes.
Again, that is Stephen Ashworth and Aggies and Dons playing tonight. Like we said, WCC Network streaming at 6:30. You can watch it there on your internet, your computer, and then be with us immediately after the game, and we'll analyze it. We'll take your questions via text or phone calls on our post-game Aggie Call coverage. We're brought to you in part tonight by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat. Remember, headaches and migraines can have debilitating effects on your daily performance. Cache Valley ENT can help relieve that pain. CacheValleyENT.com is where you can find out more right now, or get a hold of them at their Providence location or the new one at Three Peaks, that medical plaza in North Logan. Utah, Craig Smith's team's 2-0 in the Pac-12. They won at Washington State in overtime today. Rollie Wooster made the 2 winning free throws, I think it was, at the end of the game. They're 7-2 now. BYU lost a game to former Utah State assistant Coach Peterson, who was here with Craig Smith in Logan. He got that job at South Dakota, and he went in and took care of them in that game. Eric Peterson there with the South Dakota Coyotes winning against BYU yesterday. Again, I'm sure you've had a lot of NFL today, but this is Aggie basketball time. But if you missed it earlier, Aggies are going to play Memphis in the First Responder Bowl game December 27th, right after Christmas in Dallas, Texas. So those are the Aggie news and notes for today. And we get ready for the Aggies on the WCC network is where it will be streamed. The game from the Chase Center in San Francisco where the Warriors play. Aggies and San Francisco tonight in a really good matchup. And then we get Loyola at the end of the week, another good team from the West Coast Conference. So enjoy the game on the streaming and then join with us with your comments and questions immediately after the game is over here on KVNU tonight. That's it for our sponsors. And for Jalen, Al Lewis, that's game day pregame. Done.